You okay?
No, my ass hurts. I don't know if I can. Should I sit here?
This is what's important. You gotta stop and hug once in a while.
You all in my mental, can't even stress though, baby. I took me a break, yo, but something was meant though, baby. I never wanna break your heart, meant that from the start. Know you love so hard, your love is so special, baby.
What's going on, besties? I know we've been calling y'all besties, but officially Baby B is here, and we are here to tell you guys our full birth story and how we...
Technically hers, I was just there to support.
And how we gave birth. We gave birth, or how I gave birth. We had our prenatal visit, and I was almost 40 weeks because we were going off of... I was personally going off of the March 12th due date. March 11th, they checked me. They said I was 1 centimeter dilated, and the baby was still a little bit high, so we decided to come home and go for a walk. So my belly was high up and I needed to walk to try and bring the baby down. I got a little discouraged because this was the second time that she actually checked me. She checked me the week before and I was still 1 centimeter, and I was just like, okay, fine, I'm 1 centimeter, the baby's high, I guess we're just gonna walk it out. After that,
We walked for about a good 20-30 minutes.
After that, I came home and I think more of my mucus plug started coming out.
A lot more.
And it came out with blood this time. The last time it was coming out, it was just more clear, but I think this time when the midwife checked me, I just had more blood.
Let's not forget how you took a 45-minute car ride to help me drop off my car
That same day?
at a car shop.
Yeah, but I mean, that was just sitting down in the car.
Yeah, but
driving.
you still were like, yo, I'm so uncomfortable. Like, you were like, I'm so uncomfortable.
After that, the next day, which was Friday the 12th, I woke up that morning and I remember posting on Instagram, and immediately I was like, today is my supposed due date, but I know that this baby is not going to come until next week, because I really was under the impression and I had the expectation that I was going to have the same time frame as I did with Sage, because Sage came a week late. So I was like, you know what, I'm not even going to sit here and get my hopes high because of this due date, especially since they just checked me yesterday and I was only 1 centimeter.
We had the castor oil on deck. Like, whenever you're ready, babe, we can just do this castor oil like last time. Let's get to it.
But she also said that she didn't want us to take the castor oil until the due date. So I was waiting for the due date to approach. And initially, their due date was March 16th. Mine, mentally, was March 12th. So I couldn't take it on March 12th because they wanted me to wait until March 16th. March 12th, like I said, it was a Friday. I woke up and I said, you know what? This baby is not going to come. I'm just going to go for a walk again. Right when I was about to leave the house, my cousin called me on the phone and we were on FaceTime through my entire walk. I was walking for about 40 minutes that time. Okay, so the entire time we were walking, we were just talking about labor. We were talking about like having more babies, just like that's my cousin, that's my sister. We were just having a long conversation. And you know, like sometimes when you in the middle of a conversation, you're in a zone and you just like walking and you just doing your thing. So I'm pushing Sage in the stroller, and I guess I don't know if I was pushing myself more than I normally would, but I was just doing my walk. Like I didn't stop to take any water breaks. I was just walking. So after 40 minutes...
Tasha, she probably had a really fast pace of walking and didn't even notice, because she walks fast and then gets mad and go, why are you walking so fast? I'm like, yeah, I'm following your pace,
I
dude.
wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, you were probably walking fast. I was at work.
My titties are so swollen. So when I came home, right, as soon as I walked into the house, I could feel like the inside of my legs, everything was just like burning, and I started to feel like, not really like slight contractions, but pain. Right? It was like pain, and I feel like it was just from me walking. That's what I chalked it up to. So that was about, I want to say, what, 3:45? Yeah, 3:45, because then I remember I made a video on my Instagram where I said I came home from a walk, and I think I walked too much because more of my mucus plugs started coming out.
That walk was intense. I walked for like 40 minutes, and now I'm in slight pain and discomfort. I'm feeling like a little bit of contractions. But I also feel my mucus plug coming out more. I just checked and it's definitely coming out. But Sage is on the toilet. So what's gonna happen if I need to use the toilet and he's on it right now? So now I have to sit here and wait till my son finishes on the toilet.
I wanna say ever since I came back home from that walk, clear until like that whole rest of the day, I was feeling uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable, unbearable, but just uncomfortable. You were at work until...
I got off at 6, and that's when you and I were texting between like 4 and 5, and you're like, yo, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. was like, yo, you
You want
feel
me to
like
come
you
home?
having contractions? You want me to come home? He said, no, you get off at 6. I think I can hold off, nothing crazy. So I got off at 6. I came home. She was sitting on the couch and was like, yeah, I'm just in some pain, but it's not contractions. At this time, she had already did a few measurements of her contraction counter, and it wasn't anything alarming to her or myself. So we're like, all right,
Because
maybe
they were bearable.
yeah, like maybe the baby's just trying to dig down deeper and getting lower, and that's what we both agreed like what was happening.
Turn it into evening, contractions still coming. My sister was she was working, so she had some clients at the house, and I think the clients left. And I remember at one point she finished working and she looked at me and she was like, so how far apart are your contractions? Because she saw that I was like going through contractions at some point. And at that point I had already stopped counting them because I was like, I don't even care anymore. I just know that they're still coming, but I'm just like, you know what, in denial. Ain't nothing really happening. What did we do? We went to bed?
Yeah, I mean, I left the house, I went somewhere, came back, and when I came back,
Where did you go to pick up your car?
I took an Uber to go pick up my car.
I couldn't drive because he didn't want to put me into the same predicament of me driving 45 minutes again. So he took an Uber down there, and while he was down there, I just told him to keep me updated. And I was sitting on the couch and I was still going through the contractions, whatever. Like I said, it wasn't anything that was like, oh my gosh, this thing hurts. So midnight comes, right? And because I know the contractions were coming consistently and I didn't want to do anything like super last minute, I did decide to send the photographer a heads up, and that's the first person that I messaged. I sent him a text message and I was like, first of all, I hate that it's midnight right now. And I said, I'm actually feeling contractions and it's been coming consistently, but I'm gonna see what it looks like in the morning and I'm just gonna let you know by then. And he just texted me back and he's like, thanks for letting me know, keep me updated, I'm super excited. So I texted him at midnight and told him that I'm just gonna try and sleep it off, whatever the case is. So I laid down in the bed and I remember trying to fall asleep. And there's also, when we started to count the contractions.
We both had the contraction counters on our phone, so there were moments where she would tap me while I'm sleeping and I start the contraction and she'd forget, fall asleep. I'm like, did it stop? She went, yeah. Then I'd stop
like
it.
I was falling asleep.
Or if I fell asleep, she like able to roll over and she tapped her phone to count the contractions. So we both had our phones rolling, trying to count the contractions just in case.
And then there was a point where, yeah, Eddie and Sage were completely knocked out. And I was feeling contractions all through that time from like 1 till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then at some point I was like, you know what, I have to go to the bathroom to pee. I got up, and right when I'm looking to get up to go to the bathroom, I felt another contraction. And for some reason, that one contraction that I felt, I was like, you know what? This feel like it's about to take me out. This is getting stronger. That one contraction felt like it got stronger than all the other 100 contractions I had prior to that time. So I woke Eddie up and I went in the shower, and from there I realized that the contractions kept coming in the shower.
It was game time at that point. Just to make sure, I went and got the paper for Tasha's birth plan. I knew what to do, but I just wanted to make sure.
When I tell you, I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed because I'm in the shower, right? So I said, babe, can you please call somebody, right? Please call somebody, because that's literally what I told him, because I know what my body is feeling and I know that this is like completely different than what it was feeling earlier. This is game time and I feel like I'm in labor. So I'm like, babe, can you please call somebody? So here I am in the shower and he comes over here. He's like, okay, just to make sure, do you have sharp pains in your lower back? Do you have these? And he's over here.
Do you feel like you have to poop?
He's over here like going through all of these checklist thing, and I'm sitting here just staring at him like, bruh, can you please call someone? I already told you what it feels like. I know what it feels like. Call somebody. I don't need you to read off this thing to make sure that I'm feeling what I'm telling you that I'm feeling. So he ends up calling.
I called the birth center.
The birth center.
They heard Tasha in the back moaning and they cut me off and was like, we're on the way. After that, I called the photographer. He picked up, was like, hello. I was like, hey, I know it's 4 a.m., but it's game time. He said, okay, I'm on the way. I said, okay, how long before you get here? He said, probably about an hour. I'm like, man, an hour? He said, yeah, I'm coming from South Beach. Our birth photographer, shout out to Snake God, he rides a bike, man. He loves riding his bike everywhere. So he was on South Beach. He was like, I'm gonna be there in an hour. Like,
just our luck. This night he was
on
on South Beach.
I hope he can get here in time. I then messaged the doula, called the doula, wasn't able to get a hold of her at the moment.
Came out the shower. I was still feeling some contractions during that time. I was like just getting dressed, putting on my clothes, and then
during that time I picked up Sage and I brought Sage to his aunt's room so he can get in bed with his aunt and grandmother. And because I also wasn't 100% sure, I told my mother-in-law, I said, I'm bringing Sage in here just in case. We're monitoring some contractions, nothing crazy. She came in the bedroom 30 minutes later and was like, you know I ain't going to sleep yet, right? Like, you can't just drop off your grandchild and be like, it ain't nothing going on. Like, yo, what's going on?
Don't be worried or whatever.
I'm like, yeah, it's real.
So then the midwife shows up, right?
Midwife showed up at that time.
Right before the midwife showed up, you were...
By that time, I set up
the lights.
everything. By that time, I woke up and, like, I was in it. So, tub was full. I made up the bed, had towels laid out on the bed just in case.
The air mattress
I had the
already out
blow-up bed out in the backyard, Christmas lights plugged in, off candles burning. I had everything set up within 15 minutes.
And I was sitting on the couch outside, and I was going through the contractions, and then the midwife showed up to the house. And as soon as she showed up, she like got her suitcase and she was like taking out some of her stuff. And immediately she laid me on the bed and she checked me, right?
And the number was?
She checked me and she was like, you're at 9 centimeters. We didn't even have a reaction. Like I literally just sat there and after she said you're 9 centimeters, I was like, you see, Carol? I knew this was something. Like this is literally, I tried to hold off as long as I can, but I knew that this was actually something. So she's like, yeah, I'm 9 centimeters. So I was literally in shock, but didn't really show it. I was like, wow, this is really freaking happening.
From my point of view, at that point, you were very mindful of what was taking place, and you were like, all right, y'all. She told me and the midwife, all right, y'all, let's go in the backyard, because the last thing I want to do is that one contraction comes where I'm like, I know I'm gonna push and I'm stuck here in the bed and I can't even get in the tub or anything. Like, I don't want to do it here in the bed. It's like, cool. Thank you for being mindful. We immediately came out to the backyard.
It was dark outside
plugged
still.
in the home pod, and as soon as we got back out here, photographer shows up. Tasha's sister walks out. I was like, yo, Sage is sleeping. I'm like, great. Can you film? Because I only got one camera in the corner. We need like up close and personal. So everything worked out. Everybody followed the birth plan. Tasha's mom was already in the kitchen cooking breakfast, also preparing lunch.
I
just
started
in case.
To go through contractions. Like I was leaning on the fence. I was on the air mattress on the floor. So I was squatting on the air mattress, and then at one point I was like laying down on my back. I was just like moving around in different positions and breathing through it as much as possible. The midwife literally was so hands off. She was just standing there like, I know that you can handle it. Like, I'm just gonna intervene when I need to. Eddie was there, super supportive, just being there, holding me whenever I need him to. The photographer was taking all the pictures. My sister was literally making sure, she's like, I'm not messing up this time. I'm getting every single angle. Sage was knocked out. Like, I was literally in a zone. We had our music playing. You have the roosters all playing. You hear the roosters in the background.
Everything was, it was almost storybook. However Tasha envisioned it, it was playing out just the way it should. It was beautiful.
Freaking awesome. When I was laying down, because I knew that I was already 9 centimeters and I could already feel my body feeling like it needed to start pushing or just doing something different, I was like, you know what, I'm laying down on my back. I don't want to do this because I don't want to lay down on my back again. Not saying that laying on your back is something that you can't do, but I do know it's not the ideal position to give birth. And I know that I did it with Sage. And I said to myself that I'm going to make a commitment to not be on my back. I don't care if I'm squatting. I don't care if I'm on all fours. I don't care if I'm doing anything, but I just didn't want to be on my back. I wanted to work with my body, and I wanted to not fight against gravity. Here's the thing. So we're laying down on the bed, laying down on the air mattress, and I was like, okay, help me up, help me up. So we got up, and what did I do? I hung on to this pole right here.
Hung on? She leaned on.
So this is
she leaned on so tight, it looked like she was about to dislocate her shoulder. I gotta show them.
Oh my goodness.
I gotta show them. And I'm gonna show them from this angle. She was facing this way, but her shoulder, y'all, was in it.
I was leaning on the pole hard, and
like, this hurts me right now, and I'm not leaning all the way hard. And I'm like, yo, I can replace the pole. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, the hell you
So
not?
the pole definitely was like my support. And I was just like going through these contractions, and I really was trying to be as mindful as I could when it came to like my breathing and to let my body actually take over, because I know what it's like to try and tense up and fight against a contraction that can slow your body down, and it just makes everything just work against you. So I was really trying to like breathe through everything. So I was breathing, going through these contractions, holding on to the pole. And at one point, I know I felt like I had to freaking push. And I held on so tight to the point where like I pushed, my whole water just break. Like I just felt like a pop, literally like a balloon just popped out of my crotch, and a whole bunch of water just gushed out of my crotch. And I was like, whoa. And I swear, as soon as it came out, my body felt so weak, to the point where I felt like I was almost about to fall over. So I fell over and you was like trying to catch me because I was like weak as hell. After that, the midwife came from her little corner, and she comes over, sits on the air mattress, and comes and sits right underneath my ass. And from there, I was like, okay, cool. So this is what we're doing. So every single contraction after that just felt like I needed to push. I was just following what my body was doing and just like trying to push through all of them. I push in, like I don't know what else to say. Like I push in and the head start coming out.
The beautiful thing is everybody was encouraging her. Me, the midwife, her sister, like we're like, you got it, keep pushing, breathe through it. Even the photographer was like, yo, you got this. And then she acknowledged it herself. She said, I feel the head is about to come through.
I feel it.
Not the ring of fire. Like she said, she could feel it getting ready to push through.
I feel it.
And
I remember one strong push. I remember literally like that one strong hard push, and I literally just pushed the head out completely. And she's like, okay, we have to get the rest of the baby out. I'm like, is the head out completely? She's like, yeah. So she was holding on to the head. And
mind you, Tasha's still standing up, so I'm holding her up.
Literally standing here squatting. I don't want to move because my hemorrhoids hurt. So literally standing, hold on to this pole, squatting the baby out. And the only thing that kind of bothered me a little bit is because I know that when you're getting the baby out, you usually push through the contraction. And right when I had the baby's head out, like the second contraction didn't come, and I was like, felt like I was being forced to try to get the rest of the baby out. So I had to force myself to push when my body wasn't, without my contraction not.
Without that contraction?
Yeah, without the contraction. So I was like, I literally just forced the child out. And the baby came out.
And the baby came out, yeah.
And Carol catched the baby. And you were standing there. And I said, whoa. You turned around.
And she said the gender.
You
thought we were going to give the gender away, didn't you?
And I said, wow. That's
it was beautiful. Cut the umbilical cord out here on the air mattress.
That's how the baby was born. And next thing you know, you went to wake up Sage. And I remember laying down and I was like, where's my son? Sage was not ready to wake up because he went to bed late like we did. Like I said, it was like midnight, 1 in the morning, he went to bed. So he came outside and he was not ready to even see us. But the good thing about it, which a part of me wanted to see how Sage would be during the labor, but I'm really grateful that he was able to sleep.
It worked out.
That
it worked out the way it should.
I was able to zone out and just be with the people that was helpful during the labor, and Sage slept through the entire thing, and he was able to wake up and see his new sibling. And it's mad dark outside.
Yep.
So really and truly, that's how.
Yeah, I mean, we could dive more into it, but at the end of the day, you guys know you can go to tasharenee.com.
And you'll be able to see the full, uncut, full birth video, and you'll be able to actually see the experience that we are explaining at this moment. So yeah.
Thank you guys for all the support, the encouraging messages. I mean, Tasha's a beast in her own right, but still, she definitely values. I feel like I'm talking for you. She definitely values like the messages and words you guys give her. Each and every day, she's starting to realize the impact she has on people. So thank you guys for sending that out. Because Lord knows it's a struggle for me to be like, you're an influencer. It's like,
I'm not. I just share my life.
So thank you guys. We appreciate it.
We got 2 kids, bruh. That's our birth story. That's
it's
how
dark.
It happened.
We love you guys.
Oh, so if somebody asks how long I was in labor, mentally I would say it started at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's when I really felt the pain was happening. So from 3, and we had the baby at 6:47 in the morning. So I want to say 3.5 hours because that's what I want to say. Thank you guys so much for listening to our birth story. I hope you guys had a visual of what we explained. But yeah, if you're not subscribed to Our Best Life, go ahead and subscribe to our channel right now. Follow us on Instagram at oursetlisbest, and we will be able to share more of our family with you guys. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching.